also setting up a hotel Le Meridien in Bhutan. So traveling makes it's on a high altitude.
I began working with a design studio based in Mumbai, followed by another design studio.
Design is very abstract and I'm saying very subjective, right? One thing will get a completely opposite view sometimes.
Today's episode is something which is very special for all of us because we have two different identities sitting together. We have an architect, I think three different identities which are sitting together. We have an architect, an interior designer, and then we have someone who's a project manager. When it comes to the whole conversation and understanding what happens at the project once the design is submitted on the site, that's the conversation that we all look forward to because we don't know, we just see the end product that someone has designed it and it just gets delivered. There are a lot of things when it comes to executing the project as well. So that's the whole conversation that we are having today. We are in a beautiful place which is Mirzapur Rugs. I think it's their experience center. I mean, it's the second generation who's taking care of the entire legacy which is there. It's going to be amazing. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
We want to know about you, who you are.
So I am architect, interior designer Tushar Mistry, principal and founder of Tushar Mistry Design Studio.
Perfect.
So practice my own practice since 11 years now, and I come with an experience of 20 years down the line. We deal into various sectors of interiors and architecture, hospitality, F&B, sales galleries, lounges, experience centers, show flats, restaurants, resorts, hotels, whatever comes under interior and architecture too.
What are you doing currently that's exciting?
A lot of things. Right now, the podcast.
Cool. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good.
Can you introduce yourself for us?
Yes, I'm Sakshi Gehani from Innova by Sakshi Gehani. I'm the founder and principal designer there. We also call it IBSG, and we are into a lot of interesting residential projects, and of course, anything under the belt of interior design.
Perfect. Anything exciting that is going on
A
currently?
lot of interior residential projects. Yeah.
Cool. So what are you? I think you're someone in the frame today who's a client to us.
Yeah.
We want to understand who you are and what you do, sir.
Yeah. So I think I'm the veteran amongst
Yeah.
all of us, obviously. So now it's been 35 years since I started working.
Okay.
Not exciting working like other colleagues of interior designer and creation. I'm a boring project manager.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you make things.
Yeah.
The designs done by these guys, gentlemen and lady,
Yeah.
we make them shape,
Yeah.
make them real. That's
Yeah.
my job as project manager.
How boring it is to travel to places and set up new resorts. How boring it is.
No,
Yeah,
it
no,
depends.
that's the point, right?
Correct. No, it depends how you look at it.
Yeah.
At times it's stressing, boring. At times it's exciting and beautiful.
Yeah.
You get to know the nature, get to see the places. So in my current role, I'm part of Mahindra Holidays. I'm doing projects there. We have projects all over India. So I just travel left, right, and center, trying to find inspiration, trying to find ways to handle projects.
Yeah.
So challenges and challenges everywhere.
Anything exciting that is happening?
A lot of exciting things.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting
A recent
things.
project of my Club Mahindra.
Okay, so we have, excitement is for us. The excitement is how we overcome challenges.
Yeah. Okay.
So when we work on a remote projects, remote site, there are, it's very different type of problems we face.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a project happening in Himachal, further up south, up Shimla. The 3 months a year, it's a fully snow. It gets clad in snow. We can't even exit the site.
Okay.
How you keep your
Work
team
going,
there,
yeah.
keep the workforce there, and still keep doing some work. Otherwise, if people go, then you're shut down for next 6 months. You know. So likewise, we have another extreme in it's in Konkan near Ganpatipure. There it's a all laterite red stone, and it's so hot. Even during the day, you can't get out.
Yeah.
So you have another challenge here. The similar thing. How do you keep the people there,
Yeah.
and then they keep working?
Okay.
So always trying to define a strategy, find a solution. How do you work on a different challenge? So biggest challenge is to work on remote locations, finding and deliver the project in cost and time.
Cost and time.
Time.
Tushar, so you want to elaborate more on cost and time?
Well, cost and time, obviously, that is quite important. Like we were also setting up a hotel Le Meridien in Bhutan. So traveling makes it's on a high altitude,
Yeah.
and Thimphu is right down. Then again, there are 7 hours of climbing the mountain, going up, and basically there is nothing. It's just the Himalayas, you, aap aur aapki tanhai, and those laborers that you have to talk to, and consultants who
And the
are
weather?
from the remote
And
area.
what about the weather?
Extreme weathers, I mean.
Right.
So when you travel from Mumbai, humid to it transits towards like the coldest possible
Single
weather
digit.
out there,
Yeah.
and the rocks and mountains. It's exciting during off working hours, but then it is a challenge. So setting up resorts, especially hotels or resort at remote areas in extreme climates, whether it is Rajasthan or up north, it gets difficult. Yeah, a lot of resources goes into such places. Making on a plain land in a forest, it's not much of money pumping that requires. But where you don't have anything,
Yeah,
you don't have
agreed.
people, you don't have consultants, you don't have labor. Also, you must have faced the same challenges of even adopting the local labor and getting work done from them, because not all force you can take it from here.
Right. The labor who
So-
understands your design language as well.
And places like Bhutan, they have a very peculiar rules and regulations of making the
Facade.
architecture.
Yeah.
Right.
The outlook
Control.
of it cannot be different. So you have to
Facade
take
aspect.
local labors. And in our genre, you know that we are into speed jobs. But those jobs cannot be speed jobs. You can't make them
True.
work 24/7. How you
Right.
make labor work out here in metros. So yeah, logistics, and if you pull it off with the stipulated money, good. I mean, हमको तो मुँह चलाना है, but actually they are the people who actually controls the budgets.
Agree. Cool. Now I want to understand from you, how has your journey been? That's where I'll start off with you.
Yeah.
Because I think it's your debut podcast, is what you told me before.
Yes.
Just before we started, I'm excited about it. So I
Yes.
want to understand your journey, as when you started, how your life has been. We all want to know about it.
Yeah, so talking about interiors, I started really young.
Yeah.
I was all of 19 when I began practicing.
Okay.
I was really eager to, actually bring life to these bare four walls.
Okay.
And that's what motivated me to start sooner than my friends and my classmates. I began working with a design studio based in Mumbai, followed by another design studio. And it was when I was around 23 when I realized that there are many loopholes
Okay.
in our design industry.
Okay.
Today, where we sit at, our industry is a lot more organized, I would say, compared to years before.
Okay.
And I identified those loopholes and, of course, was really keen on exploring creative liberty, which you don't necessarily get while working for a design studio. And that's where IBSG came alive.
Okay.
It was my dream always to set up my own practice,
Okay.
independent practice.
Okay.
And I had a 5-year plan when I started off at 19. And here I was 4.5 years into my practice
Yeah.
when I started IBSG.
Okay.
And yeah, there's been no looking back.
Nice. What are the scale of projects that we look at, ma'am, when you're doing projects? What are the
Yeah.
scale of projects that you're currently looking
It really varies. We
Yeah.
look at interesting projects.
Okay.
Right? So it could be a 5,000 square feet apartment, it could be a 15,000 square feet apartment.
Cool.
What really matters to us is the client's ideology towards design, their
Okay.
take.
Okay.
We like to work with clients who understand the value that design brings into everyday life.
Okay.
And that's the way we select our projects.
Okay, interesting. When I thought your name came on the list that you're doing a podcast with you, the first thing that I wanted to ask, now the ice is broken. What do you see when you want to appoint an architect or an interior designer for your
I would
project?
like to know that.
We should team up
Let's
here.
get some
We should team up here. Let's send our
That's the
portfolios.
question that I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
How do you finalize an architect or an interior designer for your project? How it is done?
No, that's not
See,
easy,
someone who's
listen.
already working with
Yeah.
you, but someone
See,
who's new, right?
That's always a difficult thing. What happens is, in this industry, we were just chatting before this thing. The problem is, we are very scared of taking risk and trying out new things, new ideas or new people, new designer. So first question is asked, how do we look at the profile? What are the projects? Which are the projects you have done, right?
Okay.
And after that projects, we try to get a sense of what kind of design, the way the design happens, or though it may not be the true reflection of the person, because it will also depend on the brief what given to them, right?
Okay.
But we have no other way to check, right? So though we go and check and try to find a sense, okay, we are aligned with our thought process, what kind of colors we are using, what kind of materials we are using, likewise. But then what happens is, again, our choice is limited to the people who have done some work. Somebody who has not done a hotel or a resort, then what? So then the biggest question is, should we try, should we not try? How do you find that they were going to perform good? So that's always a difficult part. So in my personal capacity, I have always tried to find people who have not in the industry. We have tried to give them a break, small with renovation. So what we do, we take a smaller scope and we give them, okay, why don't you do a renovation? So the renovation will be a lesser risk, and once they are able to perform, so then we take it to the next project. So that's so it's a difficult choice always. Okay. So that's what it happened. We end up even repeating the mistake. We have done the one mistake and we have done the same person. The next project also, finally we come back as a known devil. Let's go with the same person, even if we are not happy fully.
Is there a possibility that I don't know if you guys have changed the designer or the architect mid project? Not to name the person, I'm just asking. I mean, is it normal? Does it happen?
Contractor, it happens a lot.
Acha. Okay.
Project manager also happens.
Yeah.
Designer, not that much.
Okay.
Must be extreme situation.
Extreme. Somebody is, but with us it happened.
Yeah.
I had to do once.
You had to do once.
Yeah, and it was international designer.
Why did you do that? Just to understand.
Yeah. So this
See,
was.
ये सारी चीजें हमको सुनने नहीं मिलती. I'm being very candid with you. That is the reason I want to know. Yeah.
No, we had to change the designer even after hotel. What happens? We do a mock-up. So because we are doing 200 rooms, so we do a full room completely functional as a mock-up. We call it a mock room or mock-up, and we sign off that. And before we repeat it, because otherwise you are going to repeat the same mistakes every time.
Yeah.
So we have done a mock-up as the first milestone. We did a mock-up. We spent money and because we had to spend twice, thrice in mock-up because we were only doing one. And after that, we decided to change the designer. And the design was, he was not listening, obviously, because he was coming up with a very high-handed, very high horse and thinking of, I know what I want, what you want, rather than listening to what the client wants, So after giving feedbacks also, and of course when things are not fitting into the cost, so we had no choice. So then finally we decided, it was a very difficult design. We had to redo the mock-up again, restart the whole public area design. So all those things have impacted timeline and cost, everything. But that big call was taken and took that call. But it's not normal.
That's
Yeah.
there, right?
So sometimes you have to.
So just to understand, one thing that you've spoken about is you guys look at the portfolio or the profile when it comes and you're looking for similar projects. And for you and sir, for you, my question is, do you modify your portfolios while sending it to the client, or you send the same profile to every client?
How much would you modify? I mean, it is there
Because
and
he's
there.
looking for certain projects, right? And then
So there are profiles which says only hospitality.
hospitality.
Yeah.
So we don't send residential, we don't send commercial that we have done because there is no point of sending.
So relevant.
So it's
You must
divided
have-
basis
yeah.
of
No,
the
the
work.
best of the residents, but that is of no use to them. Okay.
Yeah, so they always have that portfolio approach. Ki this is my hospitality portfolio, this is a residential portfolio. And if somebody is doing new, then we ask them, you tell me which is the project you have done closest to our requirement.
you just go
Right.
down and tell them now, please. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, so we ask them to find out a project or give us a project where which is closest to our requirement. So that is how the way of checking it.
But that has actually, what we now do is we just send like 2-3 projects. First we ask for the briefing. Where is it? What it is? As I mentioned, is it a beach resort? Or is it is going to be in mountains? Or it is just going to be a city resort? A place which is going to cater more to the marriages? What exactly is the
Purpose
generation,
and
revenue
the-
generation it is
yeah.
looking,
Brief
or
is
the
very
geography it is? So we send similar ones only.
Okay.
So that they exactly know what it is, how it is. If it is theme based, or it is a regular one. So if they are looking for something theme based, then only they will be interested in doing that or looking at that.
Yeah.
It's
Sending
decoding their
10, 15
requirement
projects,
first.
they will just scroll 2-3 projects and move it aside. Nobody has so much of time to study.
No, and also to be fair, we just don't decide just by seeing the portfolio. We meet persons, we ask them chance to explain themselves and how the simple question, how you think you're going to add value to the project, right? And what is your understanding? How much you understood? So my experience is people who understood the brief, understood the project, they perform as per expectation.
I think adaptability is something
Yeah.
that you all would look for in
Exactly.
any
Yeah,
designer.
Yeah, because designer cannot be judged by a design. Designer, to be fair, he can design whatever he been asked to design. Right? It's not a true reflection of what he can do it.
I really appreciate that thought process of yours, because a failure or a success of a design has so many factors.
Yeah.
When we were new to this industry and we were new budding designers, we also used to be judgmental about what has happened, what this design is bad, good, just give your review. Over the period of time, through experiences, now we understand that a failure of a project is not only a design failure.
Yeah.
That could be cost, that could be difficult client, that could be non-availability of material, loss of interest in between of both the parties. So there are so many things party to it.
And I think the major factor is lack of clarity. Lack of
Acha.
clarity from the client's perspective and the designer's
Okay.
end as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
And that's something which is the deciding factor for any project. Any project that has been a success, in my experience, has a lot to do with the client's decision making process, right? And of course, as a designer, how we enable them to understand their requirements, to decode their requirements, to understand the fine aspects
Interesting.
of day-to-day living as well, which many clients are not even aware until you bring it to their attention.
I think Tushar sir ke sath I've done a podcast which was way before,
Yeah.
where he's spoken about certain things where he does projects. Just to elaborate a little bit about his work profile, he does projects in 45 days, and these are big projects, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about 10,000 square feet of
20,000 square feet, 25,000 square feet.
of
Right.
CECs, customer experience
Customer
center,
experience
from
centers
everything,
and
from
show
building the
apartment.
structure to completing the project, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a way to do it. I
So
think
we have
that's-
menu card of 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 75 days, 90 days.
There's a menu card.
There's a
that goes
menu
to the
card.
client.
Amazing.
Yeah.
If you want in this many days, that is the money. If you want this one, this is the money. You want this is the
So
money.
you do execution also.
Everything.
Then only you can do
We
it.
customize everything. So people like them, we place an order. So first 7 days are very crucial, where we take all the sign-offs that is required.
Right.
Design close.
When the design is done, the 7 days and all orders are placed. So we ask for 50 to 70% advance. Whatever project cost may be. That's where all orders are being placed.
Yeah.
And because these are commercial properties and the sale team is after their life to build it, usually changes don't come through. So when they start, sometimes they start with a negotiation of 90 days package. कि हमारे पास तो बहुत टाइम है, हम 90 days का आप कॉस्ट करो. But we give them, eventually the cost goes for 90 days, 60 days, 45 days also. Eventually we finish it in 45 days. Because the pre-thing that they have to do, all your TC team will take time to make contract, then the advances will go a little bit later, and the date is fixed. Entire Mumbai real estate is festival driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, festival hai, even your resorts, when you want to
Yeah.
inaugurate it, is all vacation
Always
driven.
vacation time.
So festival driven है, तो वो अगर नवरात्रि में लॉन्च होना है तो होना ही है.
Correct.
So then the reverse process. So we know that it is going to earn us so much. In 45 days, they will have to complete this project. So we are not renegotiating. There is a menu card. They only by themselves make it. They do amendment in the work order. And now it is 45 days project. Go ahead. So this we have learned through the time.
Right.
And if that window is lost, then it is a big loss to them.
Yeah.
But
it's
with
a 1
the-
year, no?
It's a complete 1 year cycle. Our next launch would be around after 3 months.
next festival.
Next festival.
So I think this is very important while you were mentioning this, and I think so is that it's very important to discuss one thing that I understood as someone who's layman is that decision making is the key when it comes to completing any project, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing that we need to be sure about. And when you mentioned there are two people whom you need in the
Yeah.
project who are decision makers, and that comes in easy or
It depends again on the client.
still.
See, we have a way of making them understand why it is important.
Yeah.
And if the why is addressed and understood, then it's easy.
But is it easy to make them understand that why?
As I said, we also analyze and we also have a process to select our clients.
Acha,
right?
okay.
So when we understand that the client is, see, there are all kinds of people.
With you, I want to
Right.
listen to this only.
And it's a very interesting field until it is. So it so happens is that if we understand in the first few meetings that the client is not really going to be cooperative enough
Yeah.
for the process to be seamless,
Yeah.
which is going to result in a good project for him itself.
Correct.
Right? If that understanding is not there, that cooperation is not there, that open mindset is not there for us to help them navigate.
Okay.
Right? They need to understand that we are here to help them achieve their goal, to achieve the space that they have envisioned, right? Because we are bringing to life what they have dreamt of. And if that understanding is not there, and if the aspect of the fact that we are working as a team to achieve a single goal, and the goal that we all are working towards is actually the same. It's not different for you as a client, it's not different for me as a designer. That understanding and that the initial confidence that we also get in our clients or the prospective clients, that decides if or not we take up the project, and usually how easy it is for them to understand that we really need one person or two people at the max to be at the fore and take all the decisions. There would be 10 people telling them 10 different things every single day.
Yeah.
But at the end, are you on a single track? Are you able to streamline all the feedback that you're getting from all your family members or your friends? And how are you able to be focused on the track that you have decided? That is, those are the kind of people.
For us, most difficult part is the HNI client.
Okay.
Especially, just to quote an example, if I'm designing a house for somebody who is a ongoing in trending actor.
Acha. Okay. Cool.
Fine. So everybody has a target, as we also lose interest in between if it is too stretched. So we have to sit with the manager, take their dates, because availability of client is also important.
Okay.
That is what I tell. I'm making your house. It is 50% partnership. I want to do your house. How much you want to get your house done from me?
Yeah.
True.
It's a win-win situation for both of us. So your travel plans, your shooting schedules, my travel plans, my shooting schedule, all needs to match together, and only we then take up that job. It's not only for the actor, for the industrialist also, or for somebody who is a high-profile person who has lot of engagement in terms of politicians, who's like lot of villas and bungalows we do in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar, which we cannot quote or even document it.
Agreed.
Taking their time, again their mood swings, some uthal pathal happening in Delhi, all of that also counts a lot.
Yeah.
So that is a plan of 2 years. Making a house of an HNI is a plan of 2 years. In 2 years down the line, you have to give your dates, they have to give their dates, and that clashes and goes for a toss. So we have to be very well organized before we take up such jobs. It's very good, the high amount of fees and budgets are endless, but then the time is also endless, and
Yeah.
time is something that you really struggle with your, in 2 years time you also grow.
Yeah.
In 2 years time you take some bigger commitments also. So for us it took a long time to get organized and take up only several jobs per year.
Okay.
Where 5 high profile jobs, 2 hotels, 1 resort. Customer experience centers, because they are like 30 days, 45 days, 90 days, it
Fast
doesn't
paced,
really
yeah.
matter. It keeps on coming and going. A residence at least takes 8 months. What may come?
Whatever you do, yeah.
So we tell them 6 months and 2 months is buffer for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So time management, because PMCs per se for residences is not there.
Not there, yeah.
PMC per se, even there is a PMC in the hotel projects also, they are not a strong body.
No, only there are not many.
And it is also like HR is a very strong body in organization, but they are almost puppets of the directors. HR is no more a strong
I
body.
agree. Okay.
So it happens, like the time management is, first of all we have to get it organized and we have to get into their managers, get them organized. Still things goes for a toss.
Agreed.
So in India per se it is little bit mismanaged, and probably it will be always, because
Unorganized.
we are very casual in terms of professionalism.
Correct.
At least in Mumbai you see that, but rest of the cities.
So,
Very difficult.
It's really
you know,
difficult.
I just want to add to what you're saying. Building dealing a residential client, forget about HNI, even a small time guy also is a difficult, because making a house is a very emotional decision, right? And there's nothing called right or wrong. Every house could be different, and this you don't understand. People who are building the house, they also want to follow something, some aspiration, but then they don't even know whether this is right for them or not.
Yeah.
So it has to be. So the role of designers is very important for them to walk through that journey, extract from them what you need. You know, like for example, simple thing, where do you need a plug point? You know.
Yeah,
So
it actually goes down to the basics.
Yeah.
So you have to. It is not possible for them to structure their thoughts and give the brief to them. So it's a designer, and it's like you said, 50% partner. It's more, because you are hand holding them. You will have to extract information.
Yeah.
Then you try to decipher and what he wants. So it's a difficult thing. I would say residential. I have not.
It's the
I have
most
done,
difficult
It's
sector.
a very personal process
Yeah.
to the clients as well. You're getting into, actually there are 2 hour activities that they're going to carry out
how your
within a
wardrobe
You
is
space.
need
going
storage. You don't need storage.
अरे
How
we
much
tell
stuff
to
you
the
store.
extent that तुम्हारा किससे पटता है, तुम्हारी देरानी जेठानी में नहीं पटता है, that also will be part of it. We will listen to all that you have for your sister-in-law and mother-in-law, but we will be part of your family. You can't hide things
Yes.
from us.
Yeah. It's like a council.
If you want us to manage someone, we'll manage on your behalf, being part of your family. So residential project is the most
difficult
and when we see, we work closely with developers. It's a working on a two-way sword when we do their residences.
Yeah.
We are doing 10 projects with them. एक घर बनाया, उसमें if there is something wrong, you are losing those 10 also.
We were discussing about this, and then sir said that earlier we used to have draftsmen to do the
Yeah.
sketching.
Yeah, we
Now
have
that
come
is how
long
people
way.
learned how to do CAD, and they are doing the same job on a computer now,
Yeah.
right? That's
And it's faster,
That's
it's
how
more
it is.
detailed.
But still, sketching has not replaced. We insist our people that think in 3D. Don't make 3D. Think in 3D. The scale, the perspective, that
Geometry.
helps because that stimulates your brain.
Yeah.
A screen doesn't stimulate your brain. If you want to be a designer, you need to pick up pencils.
Yeah,
sketch.
whether you're good at it or you're not does
Yeah,
not matter.
doesn't matter.
It's about how you're actually, the process of visualizing, creating it, and actually then putting it on paper on a
The life
software
is not zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah.
Like in 3D, you can zoom in and see the angle and see, but on the site, you are not going to be zoom in, zoom out. It is there. वो शाश्वत है, वो वहीं है. You have to imagine the length and the perspective and how it is going to react with this wall and that wall. That will come through experience, will come through sketches and stimulating your brain.
Yeah.
Very true.
Just to add here, because you have good experience, right? We just started the whole conversation with it, just to put it there. How has it changed for you? I think earlier you used to get those trace paper drawings, right? Which were like duplicates, which used to come by the architect used to
Blueprints are
sign.
still there.
No, but the tracing thing which used to happen on the original drawing, and then someone used to
GT.
just trace it and send
Oh,
it
yeah.
across.
I've broken a glass table with it.
Yeah. That's glass topo.
Yeah, And then it got changed to the drawings which are now printed. I think A3,
Yeah.
A0, A4. I think that's there.
No, so see, still we are using hard copies.
Yeah.
Without hard copies, a site is never
Yeah.
on a soft copy right now.
Cool.
And it has to be, and because another issue is, the major nightmare for a project manager, I'm sure you guys also will relate to it. The wrong drawings are being used in construction. The last version, the old version. How do you? And this, it happened even in spite of a lot of checks and all. Finally, we built one building on a mirror image because the what he did, there was two buildings similar. So the designer, he issued only one drawing. And he mentioned that this is typical for this block, this block, this block. But actually this second block was a mirror. So, and it got built. We had all the processes in place and got built. And how we come to know is when the architect, he was walking in and he said, hey, this lobby is wrong. This lift should have been open in that side. Because when the building is coming up, it is only the columns. You will not realize, unless you are architect, you will not realize that something is wrong.
Yeah.
We have already constructed the ground floor. The building was done.
अच्छा plinth वगैरह सब हो गया उस हिसाब से.
Once the whole structure was done, ground floor lobby was, rest of the building was typical.
Yeah.
But the lobby, instead of facing this, it was reverse.
Mirror.
So you had to do a lot of rectification work to change the lobby back and all. But I'm saying this is the biggest nightmare. That the wrong drawing, because the drawing keeps changing. Because again, we don't have a discipline. External world, there are softwares. There are process flow software like eSite. There are Team Binder and all. There it goes through a collaboration process. Once you approve, then only it will go to the next. It will approve this next, right? And then it is given, when it is released for construction, then only it will go to the site. But India is not like this. Yeah. And if you imagine if you are building, looking at the site, the soft copy now, particularly AutoCAD, then somebody will change the line and will get built. So I insist that at least if the soft copy is there only for studying and all, it has to be PDF only, no AutoCAD on site.
Yeah, so that's where we have also evolved. Like even our carpenter doesn't have hard copy now.
Yeah.
So we have a portal in which drawings are updated and deleted the old one. They all zoom in, zoom out, only PDF. They
The
all
drawing
have
control.
only prints are there for the record of their QC and PMC.
Yeah, all
client side.
Basically,
Our
for
people
making the
don't work
measurements
on
and all.
hard copies now
Exactly.
because save trees, save papers.
So
And old drawings are never demolished. They're
Yeah, it
never
is-
turned off.
Yeah.
It
And
is
they are
just
replacing it.
yeah.
And there's so much of chaos.
So this is yet to happen in India. There are some softwares like Procore and all internationally. They do this drawing management very well.
Okay.
So what happens is there, like this zero hard copy. It's everything digital, 100% digital.
Okay.
And this whole package gets released to this. Once it is released, it goes to all the people relevant. It is already available on app also.
अच्छा.
And if you click on one drawing, whatever revisions happen on this, everything is all cataloged with this.
Okay.
So you will have full history. What is the RFI which has gone on this? What are the changes happen? Who has done what? Every detail will be again attached to that index to that particular file. So that is done through this software, this Procore. And that is the right way to do it. Because in hard copy, what happens is we can't again, we want to do something which is on scale it up and see. This is not possible. It's all there. Sometimes we even can't read the print also. So with the soft copy in with the tablet or something on iPad, it's very useful. You can enlarge and see the detail section, whatever. But in India, still we don't have that. Most of the site, you have done it. That's very nice. But
Because our site changes every 8 hours. We can't
Yeah.
afford a single wrong drawing going on site. So it is on the
So
Google Drive. Whoso wants, internet is there. They will go to Google Drive. They'll see only those drawings, and only those drawings are valid for the subcontractors also.
So this is in a project management, it is the biggest control of drawing.
Yeah.
What is the right revision? The latest revision is there on site or not? Old revision, if it is issued to the contractor, it has to be extracted back.
Yeah.
There's the process around it.
We also don't have process of sketching anything on site.
Yeah, that's.
We don't do it at all.
I think that's a trend these days. I don't know.
It was trends from
No,
early days.
now currently it's come back now. Like how Terrazzo has come back. Now people are going on site and sketching and showing that this is how it will
Sketching
look.
and showing is a
Earlier,
different thing,
this
but that is not a
under
piece of document.
explanation.
Yeah, it's not a piece
That's
of
for
document.
Yeah.
We do it on our
Explaining
iPads.
A carpenter
Yeah.
on site,
iPad is a
that's a
good for
different
sketching.
process.
Yeah.
But a drawing has to be sent out, a formal drawing has to be sent out. earlier there was no concept of drawings.
Yeah.
They used to just walk in, sketch, आज मन किया कर दिया, next day आके change कर दिया. There was no
Particularly
process.
interior drawings were
Yeah.
Believe
It
me,
never
there are still
existed.
such designers,
Contract
and
I
those
know.
designers they do
Yes.
that. They don't make drawings; they sketch
Yeah.
everything on site, but they're good at it. Whatever works for the project. But this is not the way I would.
Yeah,
I mean, take
definitely.
it
But
further.
then their crew will be like that they
They
understand
understand
their
that only.
language, so they will be able to understand.
We have evolved as someone who was. I mean, that's what as Indians. This is what we've been. I mean, I've been discussing with a lot of architects and interior designers. We were always a album interior designing generation, right? A carpenter used to come with albums at home and he used to show things on the album and he'd say, "हाँ ये अलमारी इधर बना दो और ये ऐसा कर दो." That's how interior designing was
Yeah, yeah.
functioning earlier, right?
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, one of the major reasons that's what I feel that interior designers now, I think in the last 3-4 years things have changed, but
Yes.
before that this profession was not that.
It was not even glamorous that point of time.
I have
It
a,
wasn't.
I
I
have
agree.
I haven't.
It's a
I
hard
haven't-
Believe me, I was
hard
all,
work.
I
It
was
is.
hard
It's
work.
real
almost
hard work.
8 or 9 years old, and my father had made a duple in Gujarat, and we had asked a carpenter to make a stand for telephone, that kind of those dialer telephones
Yeah.
used to be that. So he got a very fancy one. So he made a lady standing,
Okay.
and she was so out of proportion. Like she was holding one hand like this and one hand like this. If she put her this, now it would go to her toe.
Okay.
that was a wrong wrong proportion, and she was her eyes were like, it was complete Diane kind of a character which was there, and she used to be there in the night standing there all the time. And dogs used to get scared of her.
Okay.
So there's that carpentry era that we have seen, and now we are seeing AI. So I think our generation is quite.
Yeah.
I
You've
mean,
seen-
we should give a pat to our fact that we
yeah,
have
agree.
evolved.
We've transitioned
The transition
along
and
with
adopted and,
yeah.
and acquired this.
Yeah.
So adaptation is the only and evolve accordingly.
Yeah.
So
Our field
no
is
scam.
constantly evolving.
And
There are
still-
new materials every day.
Yeah, still evolving.
Yeah.
every 6 months there's something
So-
new
yeah,
coming,
there's
and
something new.
that old is learning, unlearning.
I
That
agree,
is what
I
we had
agree,
discussed
I
earlier.
agree. Cool. I think that's it for the segment. Then I think it was a pleasure to have a conversation with you guys. Anything that you guys want to add? I think that's one thing that I'll. This is the new thing that we have started at EPZK. Something where we take one piece of advice and one feedback for the fraternity, for us, or anything that you want as a piece of advice to go on camera from your side. Yeah, that's one thing, because that's what we want from each one of you, and then we can wrap it up. I think that's important.
Right.
So what have you learned over these years that you have practiced, and one thing that you want to be changed in this fraternity, or it could
He's
be
now coming to the rapid fire, right?
no rapid fire, sir, no rapid fire.
rapid fire.
No
Okay.
rapid fire. But I just want that, because we have two segments. Either we have an hard talk, that's one segment that goes out, or we have a rapid fire. We'll go with the hard talk, because the conversation that we had is not something which was it was very informative, to be very honest. I think a lot of people will listen to this, and a lot of information when it is attached to from the hospitality side when it comes to resorts and all, and your experiences is something which we come on. I want one piece of advice from you guys, each one of you, that needs to go, that you are facing as a challenge on daily basis, that needs to be changed. I think just to give an example, Tushar sir once mentioned to me that everyone, all the entire fraternity, to come on one page and discuss one payment plan
Okay.
with architects and designers.
It's a
right?
long way to go, I would say.
No, it was my thing that the payment terms.
Payment
Yeah,
terms.
terms.
Whatever your caliber and your placement in the industry is, but then payment terms should be common.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying fees should be common. It
Of
will be
course not.
varying
Yeah.
from your expertise and
Yeah.
experience. But these are the stages where our professionals needs to be paid, and these are non-refundable areas, and these are, if you stop in between, this is what should be paid. So that is what I thought, that if it is common, it's easier for you to have a
implement
fair
it.
competition.
Yeah.
If somebody is working on 10% of advance and I'm asking for 50% advance, obviously the person would like to go with 10%, not
10%, yeah.
sometimes we overlook that why I'm asking for 50%
Yeah.
advance. So that is what,
I'm on
if it
board
is.
with you. Yeah.
So in triple ID, we'll just put this across.
Okay.
I have one supporter.
I have, when I started off, these are exactly the loopholes that I had
Yeah.
seen throughout the 4.5 years at two studios. They were firstly, there was no concept of design consultation. That never existed.
Okay.
It was majorly contracting work. the work that was happening on site was looked at, there was only one aspect, that is execution. The main aspect of designing something wasn't given importance. And even when there would be proposals sent out, it was more of the execution cost. The design cost was never highlighted, never, many times even added to the projects, which was really alien to me, because there is so much of work that designers do,
With you.
you know, and you need to claim it. There's nothing
That's
wrong
a design
with
and build issue problem.
Yes.
So we had also broken that trend by we say that we will charge you design fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it is design and built or not, you first take us on board.
Yes.
We will design, we'll make BOQs, we will also pitch for it
Yeah.
as a design built firm.
Yeah.
But you have to take us and give our dues first.
I agree.
When up to design and built mein you will earn. I'm like, no, my design design
different
sector is
effort.
totally
This is completely
different.
different.
different effort.
Exactly.
Moving back to the
Yes.
feedback part, how was your experience? This is for me.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
Because
very
I think this is
candid.
one of the first time that we are doing this when we have someone who's from the, I think, the other side where we have a client per
Yeah.
se, or a projects manager who's sitting with us and having a conversation which is a real time conversation. I think it is difficult to have these kind of conversation where we have a real time picture of what goes on the other side, right? That's what we tried to do. And just a feedback, so that's
No,
starting from
I
you.
think for me it was the first time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And you know, learned few things as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am, for you.
It was really nice, and as you rightly said, it is good to interact with someone from the other side as
Yeah.
well, because there's so much of insight that you get, and it was refreshing to hear that our aspect, our side of this job is also very well understood,
Yeah.
at least with what I've heard.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
yeah, it was really insightful.
So the other side, can I talk about it?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So I have my own podcast happening, which is known as Toast,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is like the other side of the table.
Yeah.
So for the first time, an architect is inviting people from the industry who are vendors, like Kohler is coming, tile vendors are coming. So story where their legacy comes from. What are the problems that they face from this side of the table?
Yeah.
Where do we have to improve as designers and come into at a one platform, get into their shoes?
Yeah.
So we have started this with a very innocent thought of knowing what happens in that side of table, which people doesn't know. We are the faces, we are the captains of the ship, but people who like you also, like you work in the backdrop, who actually doesn't, they face the measure of the brunt, what is happening on site.
Yeah.
What are their problems in logistics when we give them unrealistic dates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to hear from that side of the table, their perception about what they think about us, and that will give a new perspective to the industry where we know that how two people can be in sync in the front and the background.
Right. No, very interesting.
So
it's very
very,
Yeah.
I mean, good thought. It's needed. You know, we as an industry is still evolving.
So I heard this other side of table,
I-
the
I-
other side
I
of table
purposely
that
did
clicked
that,
me. Okay, fine. I think then we are bang on in that.
No, I think the whole reason of doing EPZK is what we are also doing, and Tushar sir is also doing. I think the whole reason of doing this is because there is no awareness. I think there's no platform as such where people are discussing about things which are real things, right? We speak about anything and everything when it comes to design, sustainability, there's that. But these are real conversations, right? Someone who's in that college and he's taking up interior designing as their profession, which is going to be the profession in 3 years, 4 years down the line, they need to know what they're getting into, right? And today we don't have that platform. I mean, I don't know if you guys had a platform that you listened to, or you
Not
had
at
a...
all.
You didn't know what you're getting into, and you're trying to build something which is very innocently there, that you just can listen to this conversation with people who are experienced, people who know things how it is done, and they know what they're getting into. And that's the whole
I
concept.
just gave a feedback to the organizers yesterday where I went to, it was Property Plus, this thing that, why don't you call college students for this panel discussion?
Yeah.
We as architects sitting and listening to 10 other architects and MEP consultants, we know,
Yeah.
we are aware of. We'll come to know one or two new things, but after like 5-6 panels, you are exhausted. Those are curious minds who actually wants to know what happens actually there.
So
And that is not, they are not never being called. So we wanted to have these platforms where social media and online, and it is there is present. There's a content present for them. When they come out, they are not novice. At least some hint of knowledge they have, where they have to respect people, how they have to behave with MEP consultants, why other consultants are important, why PMC is important, why procurement is important. They have major role in a success of a project, which has never been highlighted.
I think that's the next podcast that we're doing. So we've called students from Raheja, from Rachna, from SCA, which is School of Environment and Architecture, and we're putting them forward to people who are like 50 years, 55 years under practice.
Okay.
And then we'll have a discussion just like this
Yeah.
with those people around.
Wow.
And let's see, and we don't have a script again. Let's
Yeah.
see what kind of conversation comes out. And I think that is something which I'm looking forward to, because these are kids who are there in college and studying, and I think the institutional or the books that we have are still the books which were
You don't
made.
learn even half of the actual job
Correct.
in college.
And today when they come into practice, and then they've practiced for like 25, 30, 40, 50 years, and now they know that the book was not making sense at that point.
For me, the real eye-opener was when I came back from Australia, having my masters in hospitality and retail, gold medalist for all 5 years and 2 years in this. The first job that I got in Hiten Sethi and Associate was to measure NNMC toilets. So that was the first reality check of my life, that whoever you are in your academics, you have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.